think it's fair to say that today's hike did not go to plan. But let's take a look at what happened on my dumb hiking route making dumb mistakes. Today we are climbing Skiddaw and Little Man. And honestly, this should have been a really simple route. Just like last week when I climbed Blancathra, it's a pretty established summit and there's gravel tracks the whole way up. So I shouldn't have had too much difficulty. The first, the first difficulty, however, came from the fact that I decided to wear shorts for this hike. The main reason being, as you can see, it is a completely clear blue sky and it was expected to be very hot. I don't normally hike in shorts. It wasn't something I particularly felt comfortable with, but I thought I would give it a go. You will see the weather dramatically change as we move towards the summit, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. That was the first choice that I made. And then the second choice was just plotting a route based on footpaths on the map. Now, I do this all the time. I use an app or I'll pull out my map and I'll plan a route that looks like a good distance that takes me to the summit that I want to climb. And I don't necessarily consider that some of the tracks in the area, even in the Lake District, such a busy area, some of the tracks are somewhat forgotten about and not well managed. So a couple of points in this video, my planned route was maybe not the best. This happened almost immediately out of the gate, where the path that I had planned to take was indiscernible from the rest of the field, so I decided to continue a little further on and took a different route, a different path up. It didn't really add very much to my planned route, maybe 500 meters. Not a big deal. The second time this happened, though, I thought, screw it, just go with it. So you are at some point going to see me wearing shorts for the first time on a hike, wading through the undergrowth. That said, the first part of the hike up to Little Man was perfect. The sun was shining, it was a great day. I got there nice and early, which is my preference, so that the tracks were essentially empty. On this side of the mountain, I only saw one or two people, which is generally my preference. I don't like the busy tracks. So it started out as a great day. And then I start climbing up Little Man, and the weather turns, and I move into the cloud layer. The wind comes up a little bit. It becomes much colder, as I'm sure you can imagine, and also navigation becomes a little bit more difficult. Actually, not really a problem if this kind of weather puts you off from hiking. It looks worse than it is. These footpaths at this point are pretty well established, so navigation really wasn't too difficult. And although I do carry a map and a compass with me, of course at this point on the hike I'm just using my GPS. It's no big deal. You might just be able to see from the footage as well, the level of cloud did fluctuate throughout the walk, so you'll see between clips it was getting better and then worse and then better. It was varied. Eventually, though, we make it up to the top of Skiddaw with its odd double trig point summit. You see there's a trig point here and then a summit cairn as well. The summit cairn has a plaque on the top which indicates the other summits in the area, so if we had literally any visibility, we would be able to see from the hills and mountains around us which one is which. Of course, there was absolutely no visibility at this point, so I didn't hang around on the summit. And the funny thing is, most of the time on these hikes that I do, I really am only here for the summit. It's a joke that I make regularly where I don't hang around afterwards for refreshments and cakes and drinks and things like that. I grab the summit, I touch the cairn, and I head home. That's my style of hiking. But today, honestly, the back end of this hike was probably the best part. Up at the summit, there was no visibility, so I just got down quickly. But I ended up walking through such varied landscape, and it really does highlight what the Lake District has to offer. Oh, just a moment. Traffic. No worries. As I was saying, the Lake District offers a huge amount to all kinds of different people, whether you're a kayaker or a mountain biker or a hiker like me. And the way down from Skiddaw really highlighted that. From scree paths near the summit to the gravel tracks and down where we're heading now towards the woodland. Because I'm a, let's be honest, little bit of a summit bagger, I don't tend to spend a lot of time in the woods, but on summer days like today, they are really, really good places to go for a hike. And they're certainly very different to the tracks near the summits. as you're about to see, because the track that I had planned to take is not this wide gravel track that I'm walking on. It is this tiny track through the undergrowth. No, seriously, I'm not misreading the map. This is the track. And I remind you that yes, I am still wearing shorts. The thing is, though, coming down through the woodlands and then through this quite overgrown area, I saw a whole bunch more wildlife than I do at the summits. Let's be honest, the summits are gravel, rocks, and scree. But down here in the woodlands, I was. Oh, sorry, just a moment. There's a tree down in the way. Okay, now we've got that out of the way. There's a huge amount of wildlife down here. Butterflies and dragonflies and birds and all kinds of things. It was really great. There was a couple of times where spotting where the track was, such as when you're looking down at the map and you see a fork in the track, but you're looking around and you can't see the track you're supposed to be taking. There's a couple of moments like that, but you're going to get it with these tracks through long grass. Just took a few moments and then I worked out where I was supposed to be going. You don't develop a good sense of patience when you're charging towards summits, but down here, you can take a little bit slower. In this section of the woodland, I did actually go wrong. You will see that reflected on the route if you check the route out, where there was a fork in the track and one leg of the fork wasn't represented on the map. So I took it right and I should have taken it left, but had no real way of knowing that. But it's not a big deal. It just meant I came out onto the road a few hundred meters further down than I was expecting to. Keep an eye on your map, keep an eye on your compass. GPS wasn't great in here because of the tree cover, but it's not a big deal. These things happen. Through the village and back to the now very busy car park, and it is home time for us.